welcome to the vlog. It's gonna be a series where I'm gonna take my 2013 Genesis Coupe 2.0T and we'll be trying to push 350, 380 wheel horsepower over the course of a long build series. Now, the problem is we're gonna try and do all this on a stock motor. Stock internals, stock block, stock pistons, rods, everything. Maybe not cams, we'll figure that out later, but I have yet to see videos on this car that go in depth explaining moving to ethanol, turbo installs, stuff like that. And my goal is to try and make this video very comprehensive, tutorials, all the type of information that you're gonna need or somebody might need to push 350 to potentially 380 wheel horsepower of a stock block. Will we get there? I'm gonna try. Today we'll be taking the first step and swapping over to ethanol, and we'll be installing BTR, doesn't specifically matter where you get it, blood type racings, ethanol safe fuel lines, which, in case you don't know, will end up going, should be here. This is how your kit will come. You have the one line, hard line here, second one here with the O-ring. But important to pay attention to this black piece and this black piece. And then you also need your ethanol content sensor. So I'll be showing you how to assemble this to get it ready to put in your vehicle. All right, so we're gonna start assembly. The first thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna take this hard line and we're gonna take this black piece off. Now there's a second piece on here. Hopefully it focuses on that. We need to unscrew this part. So we have these two disconnected. Now one spot is going to go on the ethanol sensor. It'll go on the back of the sensor, but of course face it the right way. The thread's facing out. You'll push that in. You'll screw this piece in like that. We'll get it snug later, but that's pretty dang good for now. Now we're going to do the other side here. We have the same piece on this side. This one we don't particularly have to take off, but we'll just unscrew this end. So now we have that piece off. We have this little end off. Repeat the same step for the other side of the sensor. You have to give a little push, and you can just turn the whole line if you want. And then last but not least, we have the hard line, which will get screwed onto here. Now it's ready to go in the vehicle, as long as we tighten everything up. So if you can see, this is our full assembly. Before you do any of this, which I'll put it earlier in the video, you need to disconnect the negative to your battery. Somebody said about connecting fuel relays in here, but that isn't necessary. There is going to be a little bit of pressure that comes out. There's a little bit of gas that comes out. I forgot to skip that step and wait till the motor stops running, but that is something you can do if you want to try and drain those lines out as much as possible. So I'm just going to have a little bit of fuel. Until I get a light, it's a little hard to show you, but here you're going to have two 10 mils. I recommend putting a rag in this area when you do it. A little bit of gas will spill out. I had a little bit here. But as you can see, I have some rags down there. And the two sizes you'll need for that one will be a 16 mil and a 14 mil. I'm sorry, that is a, if it'll focus here, it's a 19 mil and a 14 mil. And then you'll have to loosen this one first, so then you can twist this line down there without putting stress on the bottom one. I don't know if you can see that, but that's the other side of the line there that we need to take out. So it took a little bit, but I got that fuel line off there. Here, let me try to zoom in on that for you. So it looks like that down there. It's kind of difficult. You're gonna have to be really careful. That bottom one here is a 14 mil. The top one is a 19 mil here. So you're really gonna wanna hold that bottom one steady. And then once you loosen the top a hair, you're gonna need to unscrew this one from the bottom for that fitting. As you can see, I have a bunch of towels, but you know, right here, 19 mil, 14 mil. It is, to be honest, a little scary, but now we can go ahead and install these, the lines right there. All right, we have our ethanol sensor now finally installed. In case you don't see, it's gonna be here. Oh, it's so hard to see with this light. Let me try to get it from a different angle. Hard line here, sensor. You do have to, due to, here, let me pull these out. The positioning of this line, you don't want to put a lot of stress on this line down here because, here, let me see if I can get some better light. There you go. You don't want to put stress on the line down here, which is that 14 mil, and this is the 19. So you're gonna want to bend this line, which should be easily doable. Curve it a little bit. Don't ever fold it in half. Never, never fold it in half, but bend it so it curves, so it gives you space for your sensor. All right, we can have the line installed. So now we're gonna turn our key and let the pump prime. And then we're going to see if there's any leaks. So we're gonna turn the key here. And that's a fuel leak. All right, after about 15 minutes, got a little static shock there. It's very, very important that this line here, off the curved feed line here, is very, very tight. I was getting a fuel leak. Also, I double checked the ones up here, but you need to make sure that the connection for this kit, that your pieces off of the sensor, obviously, so here, here, and here are very, here are very tight. Very, very important. And of course, the last one down here. It looks like if you bend it like this, you see how I have it routed now, it is significantly cleaner with less tension on this piece here, so you don't put tension on that bottom fuel spot. Looks like I still have a little bit of a fuel leak down there, so I'm gonna have to tighten that up. You gotta make sure this stuff is tight, 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 tight. Make sure you're double checking that. And remember, make sure that you disconnect the battery before you do anything, but then you're gonna have to reconnect it and then turn the key. Don't start the car to get the fuel pump to prime so you can see if there's leaks. Very, very important. You do not wanna start this car up with a fuel leak. That'd be very, very bad. All right, skip forward a week. I sprayed part of the fuel line down with a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of water mix. Only a tiny bit of vinegar, mainly just water. But you can spray that over the area, it'll help break down the gas, so then it gets rid of that smell. All right, I cleaned her off, make sure everything's all tight. We sprayed a tiny bit of vinegar, tiny bit of water on there to help break down the gas. So when I go to start the car, that it won't ignite the fuel, because I was worried about causing a fire, and I don't have a fire extinguisher, but I gotta buy one. So here, we're gonna do a quick start in the car to make sure that everything's good and nothing leaks. Car's already in neutral.